Alright, welcome back to the channel. I just thought I'd get some behind the scenes footage here of doing the engine swap finally. Can you tell which is which? Can you tell which engine is 650 horsepower and which one is 830? 827.8. Pretty obvious by those cylinder heads, isn't it? But anyway, we're gonna get the old 582 freshened up. Throw some rings and rod bearings and lifters and valve springs in that. And in the meantime, we are going back to stock. We're gonna put this true 1971 LS6 engine back in this car right here. It's giving me a chance to true some things up here and make it a more accurate clone of a 71 LS6 Corvette. And right now we got a huge mess going on because not only are we switching back to stock engine temporarily or permanently, we are not sure yet, but we're also going to throw the numbers correct power glide back in it, or I mean 400 turbo, taking the power glide out and putting the numbers correct. Transmission that came with the car when it was new back in 1971. I don't know if you can see that or not. Such a bad cameraman. I don't even know why I do this channel, but some people find it interesting. And that's the plan for this weekend. We're going back to stock, and originality. For now, we finally got a chance to do the engine swap, and now we're all back to true blue. I'll let you know when we get it ready to fire up. Take some more footage here. I don't know if that's outdated now or what. 8 years old. I don't know how often you have to have that recertified. Such a cool combo, the Power Glide and the 582. I mean, it's just torque city. And here we have the original 400 turbo. Also, part of the cool stuff here that makes the car more true, I'm bringing up I had an electric fuel pump on the car since the day I bought it, and I always hated that thing. I'm rigging up the real correct fuel line and fuel pump for the LS6 engine, so I don't have that noisy thing running back there. You know, I shopped around for fuel pumps to try to find the quietest one that I could find was this Holley HP 125. It doesn't have vanes. It's some kind of different kind of pump, and it was fairly quiet, but I mean, anytime you turn on the key, you heard that thing running, and it's just not original, you know. So we're going back to original. We're running about a 3,500 stall with the 400 turbo and the LS6 engine and manual fuel pump, and as much stuff that I can get correct as possible. I had a trans brake in the car, which I removed for now, and because the 400 turbo doesn't have a trans brake, but it's just a regular automatic valve body tranny. But I had the shifter screwed up. I had gates made on it for the 2-speed, so I bought another shifter, and we're going to swap that out quick and I'm not going to cut out the roll bar for now because it'll still go quick enough to break the NHRA roll bar rule with the original, the LS6 engine that I built for it. It'll still sneak into the 10s pretty good, I think. We'll find out. Okay, way too early a clock on like day 3 of the back to stock swap here that we're doing real quick. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on here. We got no more toggle switches in the ashtray, and we got we're back to a 3-speed shifter. We had the old shifter modified to a 2-speed and disguised. Only had 2 marks on there from now we got the correct amount of marks on there, so when my wife drives it, she doesn't drive around in low all day. We got the correct wiper bezel finally on there, and the toggle switches in the ashtray were for the trans brake, which we have no more trans brake button. That's gone. I could turn on and off the trans brake just in case, you know, when we're streeting it, sometimes you bump that trans brake and she'd lock up on you, man. It'd try to go into reverse is what it would try to do. Not good, not good. So I had a toggle in there that would turn on and off the trans brake. And then I also had, that no one really knew because it was illegal in some classes, I had electric shift. I had a shift noid hidden under here that would push on the 2-speed shifter and knock it into high. And then I had a RPM switch under there. I didn't use the 7AL. I did at first, but I didn't really like it for an RPM switch. So I had an RPM. We could shift at any RPM, you know, part of dialing in the dial. So we got the interior, everything inside the car all finished here. I'm just gonna wait and put on this glove box panel. When I see that I have a crank trigger, this little green light right here, when you spin over the engine, if you've got the crank trigger hooked up right, that green light will flash. And that's how you know you're in business. You got spark on a 7AL. The 7AL is really, it's one of the things, if I kept racing this car, I would change over to a grid system and then have active timing and a bunch of electro digicals, you know, for controlling my ET and consistency. So 7AL3, don't get me wrong, it's a great box. I love it. Kind of spendy, but they all are. It just doesn't have enough options for the kind of racing that I've been doing, the bracket racing and the index racing. So I would get rid of that and get a grid maybe someday. But we're going back together nicely. We got everything inside the car done, and now waiting on a fuel pump rod. I got all that goofy factory line on the mechanical fuel pump, and then we're going to slip that rod in there today that we've been waiting on. It's on a slow bow ARP fuel pump rod, and then we can put the motor in, because I didn't want to do all that fuel pump crap when it was in the car. I mean, it's just so much easier on the floor here. So stay tuned. We'll have her in the car and then we'll fire it up. That's the fun part. All right, back to stock conversion. We have the correct engine back in the car here. Also have the correct overflow reservoir, surge tank, whatever they call it there. Correct date on it and everything. And All the bell housing bolts are in, motor mount bolts. Just got to hook up a few things here. Throw the fan on it, water pump. And we'll fire this mother up. Well, pretty much all together here. It's kind of funny, after racing the same car for 30 years or 20 years, 18 and a half or whatever, you can kind of do a lot of this stuff. I could do it in my sleep practically. But here she is. This is probably the most legitimate, the most original that this engine compartment has ever been, since I've owned the car. You're looking at it. This is the most powerful car offered by General Motors in 1971. This is it, right here. LS6 power. Completely different than the LS6 Chevelles of 1970. They only made 188 of these in 71. Those 74 heads. We got those numbers are restamps. I would never claim this to be a true LS6 car. It'd be a $150,000 car if that were the case. But anyway, 512 block. All the dates are correct. We have correct fuel line, correct fuel pump, correct water pump, which is the first. This water pump was a little late to the game. It was more of a 1972 water pump, but it came on all the LS7 engines. Very cool. Factory aluminum water pump. Correct distributor. I mean, this thing is really, it's as legit as it's ever been. I really always wanted to replace the radiator because I don't know what happened to the original radiator in this car. It was in it when I bought it, but I don't know where it went. You know, I have a radiator shop here and it probably got thrown on the scrap pile or something, but I really would love to have those tanks to do a recore and put the original radiator back in, because it's not supposed to have a cap here. It's only supposed to have that one hose that goes over to that surge tank, and that's about it. The radiator, this brake booster is not correct either, but we're gonna run it for now. And anyway, we're all set up here. Back to originality. Oh, and it's still got headers on it. I've been resisting the temptation to push the buy it now. There's a set of cast iron intake or exhaust manifolds on eBay right now that have the correct December of 1970 or early January of 71 dates on those. There's a perfect set of cast iron exhaust manifolds on eBay right now, but they're $650, and I kind of been, you know, which isn't bad. You pay more than that for a good set of headers these days. But I've been resisting the urge to buy those, because that would be really cool to have the correct exhaust manifolds on here, extrude hone them a little bit or a lot, and then I have an idea for a full exhaust system too. The Suburbans and stuff I think it was in the 80s, they came with a 2 3/4 pipe off from the head pipe, you know, the crossover pipe. So you can buy that in 10-foot lengths, and it looks not as gaudy as 3-inch exhaust, and it's a little bit slightly larger than 2.5, and it looks really close though. I would do that system all the way back with a nice set of Dynamax mufflers or some kind of straight through original looking muffler. That would finish off that. And then we're going to leave the roll bar in it for now, because I know even with this engine we're going to run some kind of high 10. I'm used to, I know what this car will do with the amount of power, and we had this engine on the dyno and I know how much power it makes, so I'm pretty sure we're going to run some kind of 1070 or 1080. So we're going to need the roll bar if we go to the track with this configuration here. So I'm going to leave that in there for now, but my plan is to take that out too eventually, and have the car really, really legit. I haven't fired it yet. We're still in the works here. I got the old MacGyver bomb detonator here hooked up, and we're going to check and see if we got spark here quick, and then yeah, let's check and see if we got spark. These bomb detonators hooks to the starter down there. That's one thing about this car. That's the only thing that's easy access on this car, is the starter isn't bad at all compared to everything else, which is horrible to access on these old Corvettes. But these work really good for setting valve lash too. That's kind of why I have it. But we're gonna see here if we got a crank trigger. Let's see here, key's got to be on, and keep an eye on that little green light down there. See if we got any. Oh yes! Ha! Ha ha! All right, we've got lightning. We got spark. That means so. Now I'll just go grab some weed eater gas and dump her down the carburetor, because we got. We're gonna have to probably crank it quite a bit, because we have this new fuel pump, and disconnected the old electric pump that was on the car, so we're gonna have to probably pump it for a while to get fuel up to the carburetor. But I will dump a little weed eater gas down there and see if we can get some fire in the hole here. All right, let's see if we can start a fire here. She's been on fire before a few times. Try to get a little down that vent tube. I'd love to fill up the bowls here, but I think we're going to be doing good just to pour. It's probably going to smoke worse than Cheech and Chong, because I put some oil down the cylinders, pickled her pretty good before I went to put it away, and it's been almost 1 year. Did I mention how I'm really digging this originality? This filler is supposed to be a plastic thing that just kind of shoves in on a 71, but I cannot stand plastic on an old muscle car. So we got the 60s style up until 1970, and the deal with the orange valve covers is the LS5s came with chrome valve covers. Don't ask me why, but the LS6s and the LS7s came with orange valve covers. So very sleeper. All right, let's try to fire it up. See what happens here. Get you a view. All right. See what we got going down. Yeah, it's going to take a while. The line is completely empty, and now we have that mechanical pump on there, so it's going to take a little cranking, I'm afraid. Yeah, we're going to need the door open, that's for sure. You're going to smoke worse than Cheech and Chong. Man. too. Just freaking quick. Might have to put a thermostat in it. Take a long time to get that water hot. Of course, it is the middle of the winter. Sounds great. No leaks either. It's a miracle. I hate leaks on cars. Well, I think that's about a wrap on the old back to stock conversion here. I just took it for a test drive. It doesn't handle real well on the snow. She's a little fishtaily. I don't know. I guess we need some snowies on it or something. But I had to find out if it was going to shift properly, and it does. It shifts nice and firm. And gosh, it's snappy. I mean, it's got throttle response. Must be that 108 lobe separation angle, because holy crap, it's got throttle response up the yang. Not anything that's out of the ordinary. That's why a lot of these LS6 engines came with standard transmissions. You know, they came with the M22. But, and then I added more cam. But it's going to be a fun car. I can tell you that right now. You know, it's starting to build temp after the trip to the end of the driveway and back. Well, it's not even at 100. Definitely gonna need a thermostat, I think. Especially if we're gonna drive it in the winter like this. About 23 degrees right now. We got a speedometer again. And all 3 gears. Man, the freaking throttle response is just unbelievable. Snappier than hell. Really fun. Wish I would have had some dry tar, dry pavement. Well, that about wraps it up for Operation Back to Bone Stock. Got the numbers correct, 400 turbo back in the car. We got numbers correct engine. I mean, you are looking at General Motors' most powerful car they produced in 1971. You know, it was rated at 425 horsepower, but they say they made more like 500. The old L88s, they made like 550. But this is it, man. The last of the solid lifter big block Chevrolet engines. Last one ever put in a car. 1971. The last gasp at the muscle car era of real power. I mean, Chevrolet, you gotta have a solid lifter cam or you aren't making power. No matter what the old coots will tell you. Yeah, put the hood back on. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, everybody. I know I told you I was done with this channel, and I apologize for the quality of this video. I still don't have any editing software or anything, so I just thought, you know, I had to record this this back to stock conversion, even though it only took 3-4 days. And it can go back in 3-4 more days, you know, to the wild 9-second ride again. I just had to get it on record. So, thanks for watching.